Hello, guys and girls, and welcome to another Sunday afternoon chat on a spectacular. I say that word a lot when we have weather like this, but a spectacular Sunday afternoon here in southern Oklahoma. It's getting along toward evening time. Got a couple hours before it gets dark, and 77 degrees. 77 degrees. We got a light wind blowing, not even a whole lot of wind. It's just spectacular. I'll use that word. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. What a week we've had this week. We spent the week here at the ranch pretty much all week. I did go over to False Creek over the weekend. That was a big event, and it was just a great event. Baptist Men's Conference at False Creek, Friday and Saturday. I did 4 sessions over there on what I really call faith, family, and fishing. It was more fishing and faith than it was talking about the family, but we did talk a little bit about Chris's situation. Not a whole lot. Mostly I just talked to individual people over there about and how many, they told me they're still praying here 2 years later. She had a stroke 2 years ago this month. And people are still praying for her by the thousands. It's just absolutely amazing. She's doing so good, and her sweet voice is beginning to come back. She still sounds a little bit like a man a lot of times, but she's saying longer and longer sentences before she gets a little bit confused, and my heart just almost wants to burst with joy when she says a sentence of 15 or 20 words and completes everything, and just as natural and as if nothing had ever happened to her brain. And we know what a terrible injury it was. One that was the doctor said would kill her and didn't, because my God is a lot bigger than that doctor. Without a doubt, my God is much bigger than that doctor. But the Baptist Men's Conference was fantastic over there. We had 2 great preachers, one in there Friday night, one in there on Saturday around lunchtime, and they both did a tremendous job. The whole event was great. Archery shooting, tannerite, motorcycle riding, a 5K run or something like that. I don't know how much 5K is. I don't know anything but really miles, but I think 5K is about 3 miles or something like that. It was 6 o'clock in the morning on Saturday morning. By the way, I did not run, just so you'll know. If you wonder where I finished, I didn't start. So if I don't start, I can't finish. But they had so much going on over there. It was absolutely fantastic. About 1,000 men total. And I'm going to tell you what, it just does my heart good to see 1,000 men with their hands in the air praising God and talking about and worshiping and shouting and jumping up and down and just amening and praising God like we did. Tremendous music over there, and just everything was fantastic. I didn't miss a single second of it. I was there all day Friday and Saturday until it ended at noon. I didn't even take time to go eat any of the meals, but one of the gentlemen over there that was had a smoker, and he gave me some smoked meatloaf. I'd never had smoked meatloaf. It was great. I also had a pig that they didn't do in the ground, but they did a complete wild, not a wild pig. It was a tame pig that somebody brought, but a farm pig, I guess you'd say, not tame, but a farm pig. And they smoked it. It was fantastic. And then he gave me some barbecue. He kept bringing stuff over there to me to eat, because I spent basically from the time I got there about 8 o'clock Saturday morning until I left that night at 10 o'clock at night, visiting with people, except the times that we were in the worship service the last couple hours of that evening, that night, I guess 7 to 9:30 or something like that. But it was just great. It was absolutely great. I'm told that before COVID, they were having we're having 5,000 men at that conference. I thought 1,000 was fantastic. I was so excited when I said, how many men will we have here? And they said about 1,000, and 900 to 1,000. And I said, God, that's fantastic. And then when the people talked about the fact that before COVID they were having 5,000 men come to that Baptist Men's Conference, I thought, wow, let me tell you something. Those of you out there that have quit going to church because of COVID, and I know many people have, because a lot of churches shut down because of COVID and never started back up. I've told you, we never missed a single service at Midway Hills Baptist Church. I don't think they missed any services over at the Keys Baptist Church, where my son and daughter and both of their families go, and my grandkids and stuff. But I don't know that they missed any church services either. We did have 2 out in the parking lot, 2 that we did not go inside of the building. But other than that, we were in church every single Sunday. We canceled some of the weekday services, but we were in church every Sunday over there. So. But can I just exhort you a little bit there? If you quit going to church because of that COVID and you haven't started back, you need to start back. You need to start back to church. And the churches that have shut down, those of you that are involved in some of those churches that shut down and never did start back, you need to open those churches back up and get out there and start helping people. Start helping people. But the men's conference was great. It was fantastic. Like I said, I did 4 sessions over there, and we just had a great time. We had some fish over there, by the way, that they had some F1 fish, about 2 pounds a piece, that we had in a hog trough, and I did not work up on the tank. I worked in front of it, but I did throw up a little Lucky Strike crappie magic bait up there a few times and hooked a few of them. I was mostly able to shake them off, with the exception of one we had to get up there and unhook, and so that was really neat. But those were really beautiful F1 fish that they got from a hatchery here in Oklahoma. I'm not sure which hatchery they got them from, that they bought them from. Those F1s in that 2 pound range are over $100 a piece now. That's how expensive fish have got, you know. Now, of course, you don't really need to stock with 2 pound fish, but a lot of people do. But you have to have a lot of money if you want to stock a lake with 2 pound fish. You're better off stocking them with little bitty fingerlings, which are pretty expensive, and letting them grow up to 2 pounds, because it doesn't take long for them to get up there. This is the last day of April, so I did want to mention it. Tomorrow, our Jimmy Houston Outdoors newsletters come out. I don't know if you send your email or you get your email into us this evening, if you'll get a newsletter tomorrow or not. I don't know exactly how that works, but I know that you'll get one certainly the 1st of June. And you may get tomorrow's newsletter. The newsletter comes out the first day of every month, and so it'll be out tomorrow. The Jimmy Houston Outdoors newsletter. I'm going to just go right out, and I'm not patting myself on the back, but I'm just going to go right out and say it's the best outdoor newsletter of anybody out in the outdoors marketplace. I mean, it just is. I get several other newsletters, and they're very, very good. But Kyle, my grandson, just does an incredible job on that newsletter. It's got so much good information in it about the outdoors, and it's a free newsletter. It doesn't cost anything. All you need to do is just go to jimmyhouston.com, and there's a place on there where you can give us your email address. That's all we need. We don't need anything else. We don't need your phone number. Don't need any credit card information. It's absolutely free. By the way, and like I said, go in there and give us your email, and you'll get one the 1st of June for sure. You may get tomorrow's email. I don't know just exactly if they can do that quickly, or if he's already got all that dialed in, ready to send out tomorrow. You know, I made a statement on here 2 or 3 weeks ago, and you know me, I have a lot of fun. I make a lot of statements in jest and in fun. I say a lot of things. Never, ever, ever meant to hurt anybody's feelings, or never meant to run anybody down or do anything like that. But you know, I mentioned something about giving us your email, and I said you don't have to send your credit card number or anything. We have thousands of credit card numbers, by the way. We have thousands of them just through our travel agency, and then thousands more through jimmyhouston.com, where people order merchandise from us all the time. And we would never, ever would even begin to think of abusing anybody's credit card information, or using it for something that they didn't order. But I made a joke about, you know, if you want to include your credit card number, go ahead. If you tell me I can go buy myself something nice. And I'm just making a big joke out of that. But I had 1 or 2 people that just reamed me out good for that. I mean, they said, oh, that was the ugliest thing I've ever heard, and all you ever talk about is money, and we never ask for money on here. And that was just a joke, and I'm just amazed at how people take everything so seriously and just don't have any fun in their life. And, you know, I've used that old joke a lot. Actually, it started that line about keep that credit card and get yourself something nice. My buddy Joe Hall, who owned Blakemore Roadrunners for forever, he sold that, and the company, of course, has totally changed. Still a real good fishing bait, but Joe sold that several years ago. But we were on a trip with Joe Hall and Wally Marshall, Mr. Crappie, and we were checking into a motel. And I'd got a room for myself. I got a room for Wally, a room for Joe, and a room for Pat Turner, who runs our production company. And so I gave the little girl there at the desk. It was long, about 9 or 10 o'clock at night. We'd fish till dark, and then we'd gone and eat, and it was pretty late. And about 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and I gave her my credit card to put those 4 rooms on my credit card. And when I did, Joe looked over there, and he told her, he said, go ahead and keep that credit card, and we'll get it back tomorrow night after we leave. Go ahead and keep it, get yourself something nice tomorrow. And I thought that was pretty funny, because it wasn't Joe's credit card, it was mine. And I've used that joke sometimes when I've been checking into places, or somebody's offered to buy my dinner at a restaurant or something like that. They give me a credit card. That's what I've told the waitresses and waiters several times. Go ahead and keep that credit card and buy yourself something nice on it. We'll get it back a little bit later. And they made that joke, but say, oh, I got reamed out real bad on that. So I just going to tell you some of the things I'm saying. You ought to be able to tell if I'm really serious or if I'm not. And you know, but one of the things we do is we never ask for money, except we've asked for y'all to over the last 2 or 3 years to donate to some other people's GoFundMe page, like Travis Townsend, the trapper that was trapping here on our ranch and had that terrible wreck and actually should have been killed, but God spared his life. And he's off of work for 8 or 9 months. People are still sending in money to Travis Townsend's GoFundMe page. I still recommend doing that. We put money in that account ourselves, and but I just don't ask for money on this social media. I just don't do it. We have entertained the thoughts of having a club where people would get a little extra access and have some extra stuff, because clubs are real popular on social media, where they're the real fans that really want to have a little bit more insight to what's going on, want to be able to comment and converse back and forth on some live videos. And we thought about and talked about doing that, but it costs an awful lot of money to set those clubs up, and so I don't know. We hadn't decided what to do on that. But our newsletter that will come out tomorrow, May the 1st, it comes out on the 1st of the month every month. Sometimes it's a day or two late, but Kyle's been pretty good. We've been doing that now for about 1.5 years, and he's hit it right on the 1st of the month just about every time. It is a great newsletter. If you if you get it a time or two and you don't think you're getting anything out of it, you can also always cancel it. But we got over 10,000 people on there now. We have, by the way, over 900,000 people now on our social media. That's right, 900,000 people, getting very, very close to 1 million. You know, that's YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. That's everything added together. Twitter, we do very little on. We only got about 12,000 people on Twitter. I guess we need to tweet a little bit more, as they say, than what we do. And Twitter's got kind of controversial, and we're not very controversial. We're simply poor country fishermen out here that loves God, loves Jesus, and loves people, and loves to fish and hunt, loves deer. I just love a lot. I love everything just about. And I don't have an enemy in the world, even though some of you try to be enemies out there with me a while. I still love you. It doesn't make any difference what you say about me. But keep in mind that a lot of times if you look at something and you think I'm being ugly or saying something nasty or naughty, I'm not. I'm just being funny or just having fun. Maybe it's not too funny if you're not laughing at it. But anyway, we've got not a lot of appearances this month. I will get to go fishing this next week. I go over to Table Rock Lake. I'll actually take Chris over and leave her at Sherry's and go over to Table Rock and at Big Cedar. This is absolutely the greatest place in the world. If you've not been to Big Cedar on Table Rock Lake, plan some time over there. That's right there by Branson, Missouri, which is one of the greatest recreational towns. My daughter Sherry and her husband Jack was over there this weekend and saw the play Esther. And we went over there and took Chris over there last summer, and the 4 of us, and saw the play Jesus, which was just absolutely fantastic. But they saw the play Esther, and Sherry said it was remarkable. She said, I really need to take Mom, she said, take Chris over there to that play, and we'll probably do that. But I will be over there. Next week on Thursday and Friday, taking some of the shell people fishing. And I'm kind of hoping to get into some crappie over there. The bass fishing should be good, but the crappie are on the banks in a lot of places. And a lot of places they've already spawned and moved out, but a lot of places are still on the bank. And the best way to catch those crappie when they're spawning on the bank, just find you some pea gravel or little tiny gravel, stuff like that, smaller gravel, sand, and just head down the bank throwing a crappie jig. I like to use a Crappie Magic jig, an 1/8 ounce. I use a variety of tails on there, but the little sickle tail works good. I like to use a blackened chartreuse because it's also a good color for catching largemouth bass while you're crappie fishing. But just simply head down the bank like you're bass fishing. You don't have to look for a brush pile or anything like that. Little small points and pockets and coves work good, but the main thing is find those pea gravel banks and just head down them and throw that little Lucky Strike Crappie Magic jig and trailer up there on the bank. Let it fall down to about 8 or 10 feet at the most. Just let it fall with the contour of the bank it comes out. They like gentle sloping banks to spawn on, just like bass. They might be scattered over a wide area. You might catch 2 or 3 and then go a little ways, catch 2 or 3 more, 2 or 3 more. You might find a spot where you catch 20 or 30 in a very short period of time. But I'm hoping to do that over at Table Rock. Table Rock's got a really good crappie population. So I think the shell customers that I'm be taking fishing are mostly wanting to bass fish, but we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to try to run into some crappie over there too. we should have a great time over there. It's supposed to be 75 or 80 degrees over there next Wednesday and Thursday. Possibility of rain, so we'll be having a little cloud cover. Cloud cover is always great if you're fishing a real clear lake like Table Rock is. I will be in Midway, North Carolina. That's in the Greensboro area, and I've been there already this year, earlier in the year, at a Ranger and Tracker boat dealership. And we had a huge crowds at that thing. So those of you that live in that area, we're going to be on Saturday night, May the 20th, at Faith Church in Midway, North Carolina. Midway, North Carolina, Faith Church. I don't know what all they've got planned. I think it's a wild game feast or a fish fry or something. So we're going to have a really good time there, just a super time there. And so plan on that Saturday night, May 20. Saturday night, May 20. It's a couple Saturdays down the line. We've got graduation coming up this month. May is graduation for high schools, colleges. They even graduate from middle school and stuff like that right now. Might I suggest an absolutely great, inexpensive graduation present, whether it's middle school, high school, college, whatever, law school, medical school, whatever. A great gift is our Catch a Better Life daily devotional. It's got a scripture for every day, a devotional for every day built around fishing, and a fishing tip. It's inexpensive. It's around at all the bookstores. It sells for $17.99 at those bookstores, and we've got it at jimmyhouston.com. If you want it personalized, it is in the gift book category. It's got, when you open it up, a page there, it says to and from and on what occasion you gave that person that gift. And you are giving a graduating boy or girl or man or woman a gift that can absolutely change their life for the better. It will, because when they go through that book and read those scriptures from God and those daily devotions and those fishing tips, they're going to become a better fisherman. They're going to become a better person. Their life is going to change because of that gift right there. So it's a great graduation gift. I just wanted to throw that out there. The antlers are just growing amazingly. I mean, they're big changes from week to week, so don't miss any of those videos. Are on Friday and Saturday. The regular deer videos on Wednesday and Thursday. We'll be seeing obviously seeing some of the antler growth on the Wednesday and Thursday videos also. But I've got a collar almost on force, by the way. I put a chartreuse collar on. It got hung on. His nubbins are up about this tall right now. They're pretty good size. And as I slipped it over his head, it got stuck on one of those nubbins, and he just went crazy. He's back kicking around and trying to get it off, and he couldn't get it off. And I finally, a couple of days later, got him to eat out of my hand a little bit more, and I reached up there and tried to slip it over, and it slipped it over those antlers, but it did not get over his ear. His ears, real big ear up there. The deer's got big ears, and it didn't get over that. But I saw him in the yard this morning. I was not able to get out there, and I was getting ready to go to church, and so I was not able to get out there. And it takes us a little longer to get to church. Time I get Chris ready and get myself ready and her ready and drink a cup of coffee. It takes a couple hours for us to get ready to go to church. We're not nearly as fast as we used to, but I'm going to be able to get that collar over that ear for us. It doesn't seem to be bothering him at all. He's just doing fine right now. I know it bothered him a little bit at first, but he seems to be doing just fine. But the antlers are changing. I swear, I think they're almost changing daily. Oh, look over under that pier, and I see a bass laying under that pier over there. I need to turn this thing off and fish a little bit here before it gets dark. That's what I need to do. Yeah, you're right about that. But the antlers are really changing a lot right now. Tell all your friends about those videos that are on Friday and Saturday night on the Jimmy and Chris Houston's Twin Eagle Ranch channel. We got 3 channels. Jimmy Houston Outdoors Fishing is where the fishing is. Some of you all have said, I know you have an extra fishing channel, but why don't you put some of this on the ranch channel? Well, the reason we put that over there is because a lot of people didn't care about the fishing. It was on the ranch channel, and so we just started a channel from scratch back in the first of the year, and it's really not growing very fast. There's only a little over 6,000 people on there right now, but I am able to answer most of the comments, so that's pretty good. I'm answering comments at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning just about every night. But and we don't get to all the comments, but we answer a lot of them. Some people say we answer more than anybody on YouTube and Facebook. I don't know. Sherry answers the one on Facebook. I answer them occasionally, but she does that mostly. But also the other thing is babies are just around the corner. We're going to have babies coming sometime soon. Babies are just around the corner. We could, I thought, actually have a baby or two right here at the end of April. We've had that before. Most of the babies are going to be born in May. Some of them will be born in June. The triplets were born clear down to the end of June, almost the 4th of July. That's why we named one of them. What do we name one of them? Liberty? Did we name it Liberty? I can't remember. Isn't that something? But those pills to help your brain. that I've been taking. I can't remember the name of them. I'm not sure they're helping real good. I'm on my second bottle of them. You know, I hear them sell on TV, say after 2-3 months, I sharp as a tack. So I can't remember the name of the pills, and but they're on TV all the time, advertised on TV all the time, and I can't remember the name of all three of those deer either. I know there was Ranger and Nina, and I can't. The other one didn't live real long. It's probably only about 4 or 5 weeks old, and it just died perfectly healthy, and we just found it dead one morning. But those deer were born like clear down June 29 or something like that, 28, 29. So babies will be coming around, a lot of them this month in May. That's always exciting, and clear into June. Maybe there's some even born as late as July. I'm going to end this thing right here. I did want to give a great big congratulations to our Oklahoma girls softball team. They clinched the outright Big 12 championship for the 11th straight year. That's right, 11 years in a row they won the Big 12 championship. They've lost only one game this year, 4-3 defeat at Baylor in a non-conference game. They are undefeated in conference, and they have only 3 games left against Oklahoma State, which for a lot of this year, Oklahoma was number 1 in the nation. Oklahoma State was number 2. I think Oklahoma State got swept in a series down at Texas, and then they lost a game yesterday, a game to Texas Tech, which is Pat Turner, who runs our production company. That's his college. That's where he graduated from. So I think Oklahoma now has clinched it. They've won 37 or 38 games in a row. Record 46 or 47, 48 and 1. I'm not really sure which. But we'll have a big series coming up down in Stillwater next week, and against Oklahoma State, and then go to the Big 12 championship, and then on to the finals. And about the end of May, the College World Series, and hopefully Oklahoma will be back there trying to defend their national championship. They've won last year and the year before, so they're going for 3 in a row. But before you do all that and get into that College World Series, you must win your regionals and get into the College World Series. So it's not easy. A lot of really good teams don't ever get to that College World Series. But anyway, great big congratulations up there to Patty. I know Patty and Patty Gasso and all the Oklahoma University girls are awesome. They're so much fun to watch. And those of you that don't even watch any girls softball and watch other type sports, it's some of the most fun sports you can watch. And you know, even, you know, if your school's not doing very good, or if they're doing great, watch some girls softball. You're going to love it. I mean, even as teams you don't even care anything about, just watch some of the games and you'll love it. When they get into that College World Series, it's awesome. It's awesome. And they sell out every seat. Oklahoma sells out every seat, every game at the girls softball game. Anyway, also, I want to give a great big congratulations to one of my fishing buddies, Joe Castiglione. That's right, the athletic director at the Oklahoma University. He has been there 25 years. He is celebrating his 25th anniversary as athletic director at the University of Oklahoma. Joe C., oh man, congratulations. You know, I carry Joe fishing. I go to up there at the football games and go to his suite. He comes down and visit Chris occasionally, and he said that he's going to come down and cook her a big Italian spaghetti dinner. You know, Chris has cooked him dinner a lot, and he said, I'm going to come back next time, Chris, and I'm going to cook you a big spaghetti dinner. And I just bet you, name like Castiglione, I bet you he got a lot of Italian dishes he can really cook, and I'm pretty dang sure he can really cook spaghetti. But Joe Castiglione, I feel, is the best athletic director in this nation. Many schools and universities have tried to hire him away from Oklahoma. We hired Joe C. from Missouri, and actually that year I think we hired him, Missouri beat us in football, and I think some people were holding up signs, "You're leaving us for them, you know, for that football team." And but Joe has won, I don't know, his athletic department has won championship after championship. Like I said, you know, we won 6 national championships in girls softball, football, baseball. Last year we was runner-up national champion in our baseball team. I think our girls gym team has won like 2 or 3 or 4 championships in a row, and 6 out of the last 10 or something like that. I mean, Joe C., let me tell you, Joe C. is a gentleman's gentleman. And he's such a good friend. He's come down and fished with me. He's not a bad fisherman at all. He catches a lot of fish and has fun doing it. I think so much of him that when I was put in the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, and I mentioned before, we're the only fishermen in there, and the thing that makes me the happiest is that they finally have put a fisherman in the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, along with the baseball players and football players and basketball players and golfers and wrestlers and track stars and on and on and on. We have other Oklahoma fishermen that certainly deserve to be in there too, and I'll be nominating and voting for them every year as long as I'm around to do that, because we certainly need more fishermen in there. But I thought so much of Joe, I had him actually do my introduction the year that I was put in the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, and he just did a magnificent job. He is a true gentleman. He is a gentleman's gentleman, and he is the most dynamic athletic director in the world. You know, I mentioned that sign. I mentioned that sign when Joe left the University of Missouri and came to Oklahoma as athletic director. I told few people, I didn't tell Joe this till about 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 years later. I said, oh my gosh, we don't want the University of Oklahoma's athletic program to look like Missouri's. And Joe, I told him that finally 7 or 8 years later, after we'd fished together and become good friends. I finally told him what I had said. I said, I thought I never would tell you this, but we're good buddies now, so you'll understand. And he looked at me and he said, Jimmy, I didn't want Oklahoma's athletic program to be like Missouri's either. He did a wonderful job at Missouri. And like I said, you know, that year that we hired him, Missouri beat Oklahoma in football. So you know, he did a tremendous job at Missouri. He's done an even better job at Oklahoma. And I don't even know. I know that he's won at least, you know, since he's been athletic director, they've won 25 or 30 national championships in various sports. And irrespective of what my buddy Barry Switzer says, there's more than one sport that counts. Barry said that they all know that only one sport counts, but they all count. We love them all, and it's great to win a national championship in football. It's great to win a conference championship, which we've won most of the football championships in the Big 12 the last 8 or 10 years, and we're closer to the bottom this year than we were the top, but we'll be back up there when we kick off in September. But congratulations, Joe Castiglione. I've talked a little too long there probably about that. I also wanted to I just want to leave you with one thing that is very, very important. Richard Jean, the Fishing Machine, my buddy from Alabama, great YouTube channel. Richard Jean, the Fishing Machine, always says, go fishing, it's good for you. Right now, it's better for you than any other time because the bass are biting, the crappie are biting, the catfish are biting. Right now is the time to start throwing topwater baits. You want to catch crappie, just get you a Lucky Strike Crappie Magic jig, start down the bank, put your trolling motor on, go down the bank like you're bass fishing, except do it with a spinning rod, and you'll find those crappie on the bank. You catch those big black ones, those are the males. Usually if the females are not up on the bed, they're out in front of them about 8 or 10 foot deep. So if you're catching the black males up on the bank, let your bait go out a little bit deeper out in front, and you'll catch those females. It's just absolutely a great time. I want to end this with the way I sort of started talking about that Baptist Men's Convention. The theme for this men's convention, and both preachers preached on stand firm. Men that are out there listening to this right now, stand firm in whatever you're doing in your life. Stand firm with your family, whatever your family may be going through. They may be facing illnesses, financial problems, having a hard time keeping the family together, kids that are sort of going astray. Stand firm with your family. Keep that family together no matter what. Your faith in Jesus Christ, your faith in God, stand firm. Don't let anything shake you in that. Stand firm in whatever you're doing, whatever you're believing, because it will get better. You may be going through a season that's difficult right now. We're still fighting this stroke, but we're knowing it's getting better every single day. Guys and girls, go out there and have an incredibly great week. And remember, I sure do love you.